Hi. In this video we'll be doing some examples. So we'll be continuing with methods in C#. So we'll start off talking about void methods. So I'll just have an example here. So you've seen these before. So we'll say that it's a private method. We'll say void display message. So in display message we can have a message box here. Say .show. We can just say we print a string or whatever. So you could print a string here. So message box.show string. So that's pretty much it. So this is the access modifier. We talked about that in the notes. We talked about access modifiers. So we've only seen private and public. There's also protected, I believe. That's for inheritance, so we'll talk about that later on. So the return type is void, which means there's no return type. So you can remember, like if you've ever bought something from a store, sometimes if you cancel the transaction, you'll see on the bill that it says void. Or if you've worked at it as a clerk at a grocery store or something, whatever, in some kind of convenience store or any kind of store, you'll see perhaps a void button on the cash register. Or now they're more digital, so sometimes they have like an iPad or something, or some kind of Android pad for the actual machine. So void just means pretty much it has its own definition. So the method name here is display message, and you can put parameters in here. So we could say that it takes a string str1, or just takes a string str. You could have multiple parameters. You could continue like that. Just separate them with commas. So here we could actually just show string. We can show str if we had a parameter here named str, which is a string message box. So the message box function or method shows a string, so we could just pass a string here like that, or you could directly write one. So that's just an example. Okay, so let's go to the next example. So there's a so we'll be doing pretty soon. We'll be doing a way to start instantiating those objects. We haven't really finished talking about objects, but I realized that this curriculum book that I'm learning from, or that I learned from, it's a Canadian curriculum book. They actually skipped out the object part of C#. So if you've seen my JavaFX videos, I guess not the Android ones, but you can instantiate, for example, a text box and fill it manually and place it like as if you're doing it in the drag and drop. But you can just do that by coding. So I have a lab on that, which is a long lab. But I have that. So I'll try to do that. I'll try to start incorporating that if I can. Well, not every time, because it takes a long time. That itself it takes like for each of these little codes, it'd probably take like an hour just to do that, or half an hour. But we'll start to talk about that pretty soon. So anyways, if we want it, so this is a definition of a method. So here we could say if we want to call this method, we could just say we want to say display message and pass in like a string here. We could say that we had a string str. We could pass in str here. So that's just a method call, nothing hard. So we could have a, of course you've seen a method, we've seen an event handler, I mean. So you've seen those before. So we pretty much, so we had, so pretty much that's just a method call. You guys have seen an event handler several times, obviously, so that's just a method. Or yeah, so in a, like for example, private void go button underscore click. So it handles a click of a button. That's a method. So an event handler is just a method. So I don't really need to talk about that too much. We've talked about it pretty much every time we've done a code example. You've seen that method, like it's just an event handler. So we're gonna need perhaps a picture of a light bulb, which I've used in JavaFX. Hopefully I can just get onto my, which I don't really use, but I can get onto my GitHub and download a picture. That picture, we could just use it for C#, hopefully. So in the next video, we'll be doing a longer lab. So it's gonna flip on the switch of a light bulb. So I'll get that. So we'll be doing that. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. So thanks for watching. So in the next video we'll be doing the lab. Basically just like a method lab with like a light bulb switch. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching. If you guys like the video, you can like and subscribe to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care.